I wanted to share with you all how I am using YNAB this year to meet all of my financial goals. So I am new to YNAB. I started in 2025 on January 1st. So February was my second full month in it, and I think it is such a great program. I am having so much fun with it. I have always been a budgeter. I've always been very good at keeping track of everything, but this just is so much more pleasant to do. So I have three main goals financially. I'll go through my emergency fund first. As you can tell, my emergency fund is pretty abysmal right now. As a homeowner, self-employed with two children, I would recommend 9 to 12 months of an emergency fund. So over the next 4 years, I will be actively and going ham on this and just really adding some funds to it. What this roof replenishment fund is, this $774 is technically part of my emergency fund, and I count it as such. So I would call my emergency fund 3,761. But in January, I had to replace the roof on my external garage, and that cost me $4,646. So I set a goal because I had the money, so I went ahead and paid it in full. I set the goal to pay it off monthly by the end of the year. So every month I'm putting in $387.19 in order to replace that. This is just kind of easier for me to track. And next year, instead of having this here in 2026, I will be adding this to my home maintenance monthly budget because I think 500 a month, currently I'm doing 100 a month. I think 500 a month is a much safer amount. If there's stuff left over, if there's no emergencies, I can roll it forward until, my main house roof or my siding needs redone, things like that. So my emergency fund is going to be replenished after I max out my 2024 Roth IRA. I will add more to my emergency fund. So currently all that's being added to it are the roof replenishment amount and any interest I have accrued in my high yield savings account. So this $49.54 is actually the interest for February that I'll assign later, but that will also go to my emergency fund. After I max out my 2024 Roth IRA, I will be adding $900 a month to this emergency fund through June. Then starting in July, because I'm going to lose $300 of my income starting in July, I will be adding $600 a month. So between the two of those, I will have an emergency fund of about 3 months of spending by the end of the year. So I'm pretty excited about that. By the end of 2026, that number should be 6 months. Additionally, with retirement, I am going to use the bonus that I'll give myself in May because I am an accountant, so I do a lot of taxes, and I'll give myself a tax season bonus in May, and I'm going to use that bonus first to fund my 2025 Roth IRA in full. The bonus will be a couple $1,000s more, so I'll use 1,000 of it for vacation and 1,000 of it to add to my legal fee fund because I am in the process of getting divorced, so I know that there's going to be additional legal fees that I'll have to pay for in 2025. So that's the breakdown of my savings. YNAB is just so great for this because it really shows you that if you're going to overspend in restaurants, you're going to have to find that money somewhere. And I am doing everything I can in 2025 to not have things come out of this emergency fund. So next I will go through my bills. So this main mortgage is the mortgage on the house that I'm living in. I bought this in 2016 with my soon-to-be ex-husband, and I think it's a really reasonable payment. The second mortgage here is my ex's equity in the home because I can't refinance until 2026, which is when we have agreed on it. I am paying him interest on this equity. We use the date of separation for valuation so that any equity earned after separation and any rise due to the cost of living here would all go to me. So this seems pretty fair to me. I'm paying him 7% interest. So about 750 of this is interest and the rest is principal. So it's not all an expense. At least I get, credit for some of it. And then I have electricity, which comes out monthly. I'm on a budget billing plan. And internet is same. Auto insurance comes out every month. Sewer is every other month, and then garbage is the same, so those alternate months. Pest control, I have a quarterly service come, and then telephone I have annually through Mint Mobile, and then I have a life insurance policy. It's a term life insurance policy to protect my kids if anything were to happen to me. And then every year I have a car registration fee. And then I have my needs broken out. So groceries, about $600 a month. I am consistently under that amount, so I am considering lowering that in 2020. I'm considering lowering that in March. Toiletries and household items, I spend about $30 a month in each. Hardly do I ever go over that amount. As you can see in February, I was $17 under. Health insurance is high because I am self-employed and I am not eligible for any tax credits for that. So I have a silver plan through the health exchange, and my deductible is about $2,500. And it's a pretty good plan, so I'm happy with it. Obviously, I wish the costs weren't so high, but that's the price I pay for being self-employed. I also have dental and I have vision insurance, and then I pay my ex-husband for half of our kids' health insurance. He has very good health insurance through his work with really good premiums and good coverage, so I'm happy about that. Kids extracurriculars, kids other, medical, I set aside about $100 a month and just let it roll forward. And then home maintenance, I do $100 a month also and let it roll forward. Gas, I usually budget $75 a month, and that's what it usually is on the high end. I only have to fill up once a month. My car is not very fuel efficient, but I don't drive very often. So I'm pretty grateful for that. I get to walk my kids to school every day. I work from home. So anything is just going to the parks that are in walking distance or going to grocery stores or things like that. The kids' college is money that I am putting in towards my children's 529 plan. So my two kids still have 10 years and 12 years until they will need it. And currently I am doing one credit of the prepaid Washington 529 plan. It's called the GET program. So I'm paying tuition at today's rates for college that they'll go to in the future. So between what I'm putting in and what their father's putting in, they should have about half of their tuition covered for. And then hopefully I can cash flow some living expenses, and the loans they'll have to take out will be minimal. If my financial situation changes and their father's financial situation changes, we do hope to increase the amount of credits that we purchase every year. But for this year, we have settled on 12 credits per person. So I'll contribute 6 to each of my kids, and he'll contribute 6 to each of our kids. Childcare is summer camps this summer. We'll do 4 or 5 summer camps so that I can get some work done. And then in the fall, my kids will be doing 2 days of after school program. So I am setting some money aside to lower that cost in the fall for me. I am self-employed, so here are these good old taxes that I'll have to pay in April 15th. So I did make quarterly estimates, and then I set the rest aside into a high-yield savings account that earns interest, so that payment will come due in April. I have not transferred any money for 2025 taxes, but it's in my business account, and I'll do that eventually. And then legal, just cost of divorce and everything. Restaurants is pretty consistently $200 a month, and I get close to it. I am considering lowering this budget in March. I do think for this account, I am going to fill it regardless of the amount. If this was $300, I would spend 300. If it were 150, I think I would spend 150. So I'm considering just challenging myself and lowering this and seeing how that goes. Kids activities, this is zoo stuff, memberships, children's museums, movies, things like that. So usually it's closer to $50 a month. This month was $75 a month. And then my fun money, I do budget about $50 a month, but I did return some shoes and then I bought new shoes that were cheaper for biking. So that credit is right there, so I only had to put in $38.28. I am going to roll that money forward to March because I have a feeling that I'll need it in the future for new running shoes or a race registration. So, stuff I forgot to budget for is really just the plug of the surplus of everything else. I know there's things that are going to come up. In this case, this was Valentine's Day stuff that I just hadn't budgeted for. I think this was kids' stuff for Valentine's Day specifically to take to their classrooms. I did have to buy 2 sets because the first we tried to craft and that did not work out, so I learned a lesson there. So if I go over budget on a category, this is where I'm pulling from first. So usually this budgeted amount or assigned amount is closer to 100, and then it just kind of lowers and lowers as the month goes on. Gifts again, Valentine's. I love giving my kids Valentine's Day gifts. Same with other holidays. So I really value spending money there. I also have $20 set aside because one of my daughters will go to a birthday party this weekend, so I'm going to roll that money forward to March so that we can bring a birthday present. And this gets matched by their dad as well, so the $20 is not the full amount we'll spend on that. My kids' birthdays are close to Christmas, so this is really important for me to plan because, again, I like to have good experiences during Christmas and I don't like to stress. I think my targeted amount is 1,200. I'm pretty sure I'll only spend about 1,000. I don't think I've ever spent more than 1,000 on both of these birthdays and Christmas combined, but I just wanted a little bit extra wiggle room. Additionally, we might do like an actual birthday party this year. In the past, we've done cheaper parties at my home, but my home is pretty small and it's pretty hard to do. So if I can swing it in the budget, then that might be what we do for this year's birthdays. I am currently only subscribed to Netflix. I don't have any other subscriptions, but my YNAB free trial will end in March. So in March, I will set aside half the money, and in February, I've set aside half the money for that. Vacation money is funded a few different ways. I'll use some of my bonus for it in May. Any credit card rewards, credit card points, bank bonuses, selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, that'll all go towards vacations. I think in 2024 I spent about $1,800 in vacations through those funds, all those different sources, and I had some amazing vacations. I think I took 3 or 4 trips in 2024 and they were all amazing. So I'm a pretty frugal traveler. It doesn't take much to make me happy on vacation. And then the credit card payment section, I do have a lot of credit cards because as aforementioned bonuses that I churn. This overspent will be fixed once I finish out the month, but same here. But I wanted to just go through all of these with the exception of the City Premier. They equal the bank's balance. So I have the money ready to go, ready to pay. So that is always just so reassuring that you're not on that credit card float. I have the money now to pay the expenses that I'm buying right now. So those are my goals. I really just love YNAB because it makes it so easy to make a decision on spending. In 2025, I'm really trying to buy less of what I don't value and buy more of what I do. And right now, what I'm really hoping for is some financial freedom. So I'm willing to spend money on tangible physical things, asking myself, is this something that I'm going to value? So I hope you enjoyed this. I am brand new to YNAB, so if you have any tips, if you see anything I could be doing differently, please, please, please let me know because I am eager to learn all about this program.